we're going to be talking about how to handle large numbers of clients using the power of PT Distinction. Now, PT Distinction to me is one of the apps, it's one of the software out there that any fitness coach that really wants to get into high-end coaching, actually wants to get into delivering a high-quality coaching service to their clients online, it is the go-to software for it. And because of that, I think some people think it's better for smaller numbers. But in reality, PT Distinction has some amazing features around automation, but particularly around how to handle high numbers, but still have that personal touch to it. And that's what I want to explore with you today. That's what I want to go through today and show you how to set those kind of things up and how to utilize this. So the first thing I want to do is I want to talk about the issue of large numbers when it comes to personal training. When it comes to online personal training, most personal trainers that tend to deliver and work with high numbers tend to do more cookie clutter style approach. They'll tend to have a course that delivers a particular approach, or they tend to have maybe PDFs and things like that to send out. The problem we're going to have with that in the future, and the not too distant future, is AI. AI is already doing a better job than what these courses are and what these PDFs and programs are. So if all you're actually offering is a course, or all you're actually offering is a PDF or diet plan or nutrition plan, then just note that in the next few years, AI is going to start to be able to do that much cheaper, much quicker than what you can. That's going to be an issue because it means that's what you're going to be competing with. And if all you're having is these basic tools that you're using to compete with, it's going to be difficult. So the thing that allows you to stand out as a coach online is the fact that you do coaching. You solve a very specific problem for a very specific type of person. Now, when you do that and your business starts to grow, the issue you tend to get is that your client base grows, but you've got this one-to-one service, this more coaching service, this more personal service that you spend time with your clients, that as you're growing, your client base starts to struggle. And what I mean by that is you don't actually have the time to deliver the services at the standard and quality that you want to. So the only options are really is if you put your prices up, which is always going to have a ceiling on it, or you find a better system to deliver your services to them. Otherwise, this can lead to poor service and it can lead to poor results. And if it's going to lead to poor service and poor results, then what you have to do is spend time firefighting those problems. And if you find yourself firefighting those problems, what you're not doing is then focusing on growing your business. And then what happens is you get a yo-yo business, which is a bit like yo-yo dieters. We've all seen this before as coaches where you do a particular diet, you lose loads of weight, you stop doing it, you put it back on again. And the same thing happens with your business. You'll do some sales, you'll bring a lot of clients in, you then spend all this time delivering your services to them because you don't have the best systems in place for delivering those services because you want to do a great job, because you care about your clients. And then all that happens is you go, I forgot about doing my sales. I don't have time to do any more marketing. I don't have time to get on sales calls. I don't have time to try and speak to these people and try and sell them into my program. So you get this fluctuation, these ups and downs within your business. And that's where the issue lies. So what you want to do is build something out that allows you to deal with large numbers of clients. And there's a couple of things you need to consider if you're going to go and do that. So the first thing you want to consider is having slick onboarding. That means having an onboarding process that is very simple and easy and is completely hands-off. Let me say that again. Your onboarding process needs to be completely hands-off. You should not have to do anything once somebody pays for your service. When they pay, they should be instantly and automatically be given their login details. They should be instantly and automatically know exactly what they need to do. They should log in, do the forms, assessments, tracking, whatever it is, should happen all automatically. All that information being gathered should be done without you having anything to do with it. Because by doing that, it's not going to save you time. It's going to give your clients a much better experience. So we're going to look at how to do that as well. You want to make sure you're keeping your content simple. The problem that a lot of online programs have when it comes to scaling is their content is overcomplicated. They try and give people too much information way too quickly. And when you give people all this information, the problem you're going to get then is they're going to get overwhelmed. And when they get overwhelmed, they're going to start asking questions. And then when you've got a large number of clients, you're going to have lots of questions and you're going to spend all that time dealing with those questions. And it's going to take you a long time to get back to them. And hey ho, we're not happy clients anymore. So you've got to make sure your content is really, really simple. The next thing you want to do is once you've simplified your content is to make sure you're adding clarity to each step. So whatever you do when you add content into a program, make sure there's something for your clients to action. The issue we see sometimes is you go, I'm going to give this vegan recipe book, this protein recipe book, this bit about intermittent fasting, this bit about paleo diet, this bit about whatever it is, doesn't particularly matter. You give all these resources to your clients. The thing is, they don't need all that information. If you're a coach and you're solving a particular problem for a particular type of person, then they don't need all that information. They just need the information they need to have that problem solved. That's what online coaching is all about. So if you want to do that, you need to basically remove all that other stuff. And once you removed all that other stuff, that allows you to simplify it. And then once you've done that, you want to make sure whatever stuff you put in there is actually something that your client can implement. There's no point in just giving them information because they can get that from YouTube. They can get that from Google. They can get it from ChatGPT. They don't need more information. They need you to give them the right information, explain why it's important to them, show them how to actually action that, and explain to them what they need to do next. And what we tend to do over at PT Ninja is we go through a process called what, why, how, when, and then. So every piece of content that we receive from our Done For You members and we put into a program, we go through this process. We ask, what is it? Why is it important to the client? How is the client actually going to go and action this? When should the client action it? And then what should the client expect next? Now, if you can do that with all your content, you're going to get a much better result for your clients. It's going to keep it simple. They're going to have absolute clarity about what to do, and they're not going to ask any questions. Much better client experience when you go for that approach. The next thing is once you've figured out the content you're going to put in there, we want to be looking at the delivery system. So we're going to look really at a semi-automated delivery system. So some of this is going to be automated, some of it's going to be semi-automated. And you're going to use PT Distinction to go and do that. And I'm going to show you now how to actually do that inside PT Distinction. And then finally, you want to look at a quick check-in process. So when you want to do progress check-ins with your clients, you want to make sure this is quick and easy for both client and for you. It shouldn't take you more than a few minutes. In fact, over at PT Ninja with our OPTC course and our academy, we actually show people how to coach clients with that personal one-to-one feel in about 2 to 3 minutes per client per week. So it allows you to handle really high numbers of clients very easily and still give them that personal touch, still customize programs for them. And the system I'm about to show you now in PT Distinction is exactly the same system that we set up in our Done For You service. It's exactly the same system that we set up as part of our course when we help you build, launch, and grow a successful online personal training business. It can be plug and played into your PTD account, and then you can tweak it and adapt it and adjust it. And I'm going to show you that now. And we're going to go and set it up together. And you could do exactly the same thing. I'm not saying you have to come buy our stuff to go and do it. You can do this on your own. You might have your own programs, but this approach is going to allow you to very quickly adapt stuff for your clients in absolute record time. So let's go and dig into this right now. So we're going to go into PT Distinction. So here we are. We're in PT Distinction, and we're going to have a number of groups set up. Now, if you don't know what groups are, I highly recommend you go and check out the PT Distinction Masterclass. Everything I'm going to talk about today is going to be completely reliant on groups. What I will say is groups are not group coaching. You can use it for group coaching, but groups are so much more than that. Groups are a way of grouping together content, it's grouping together clients. They're almost like super powered templates, and we can utilize these groups to our advantage. And the beauty about groups is to do two things. You can deliver them based on date, but you can also deliver them based on the days after they have joined that particular group. And that gives you a crazy amount of flexibility when it comes to setting this stuff up. So what I'm going to do in this training here is I'm going to go and set up a flagship program. This is going to be a main offer you put out, and this is going to be a 12-week program. We're going to have it so the onboarding is all automated, the whole content delivery is all automated, and then I'm going to set up in a way that you can adapt and adjust this very, very easily. And I'm going to turn this 12-week program that's going to be based around calorie counting, effectively leading into calorie counting, and I'm going to change it based on a client that's onboarded into a habit-based coaching program, and it's going to be a completely customized habit-based coaching program and a completely customized workout program for that individual client. And I'm going to make those changes in about 60 seconds. That's what we're going to go and do now. So first thing, we're going to have some groups. We're going to need a technique called group stacking, which is where we use multiple groups together. Because within PT Distinction, you can actually stack groups on top of each other. And when you stack groups on top of each other, all that content within that group gets copied into that individual client's account. Once it's in their account, the client can then interact with it. Now, the beauty about this is the client has no idea they're part of multiple groups. It's just a way for you to organize things. So let's go and take a look at some of these groups. So I'm going to go into the group section up at the top. I talked about having a slick onboarding process. So that's the first thing I want to go and set up. So I actually have a welcome group in here. So here's our welcome group. And I'm going to go and open up here. You can see we have this welcome group set up in this account. Now, inside this welcome group here, if I go into the schedule, I'm going to go to days after joining because everything we do is days after joining. We have a welcome document that is set up ready for them to go in here. You can see all the information they need about getting started. following that process that I talked about earlier, explaining what we need to do, why I need to do it, how are they going to do it, when they need to go and do it, and what to expect next. Every single thing you're about to see follows that process in here. You can see it's all laid out for them, adding absolute clarity about what they need to do. And then the rest of the stuff is drip feeding out to them. Now, there's not much in here. You can just see it's all the onboarding stuff. We do have some of our forms and stuff in here for them to get onboarded with. And we have a welcome email in the message center as well, all set up, ready to go out, and it has the app downloads and everything. So when someone's added to this group, they receive everything they need in order to get started straight away. Now then, let's come out of this welcome group. We're also going to have a results tracking group. Now, having a separate results tracking group is very, very important for this process. By having this separate, it means that we can actually swap around groups in the future. And again, this is something really useful and really powerful about PT Distinction, which you'll see in a minute, is once we've added groups to a client's accounts, we can remove them and then remove the content within them. And this means we can actually change the group stack that we have for that individual client. But what we don't want to do is remove any of the data, the tracking data. So what we do is to keep that tracking data safe is we put it in its own group, and that runs across the whole length of the program. So what we've actually done is created a results tracking group. So I'm going to open that one up so you can see it. So here's our results tracking group in here. Over at PT Ninja, we have a huge white label library of content, which these groups are already pre-set up, or the content's already pre-done that you can plug and play into your account. And we have different versions of it. So when I type results tracking there, you would have noticed they are different versions. That's the only reason why, in case you was wondering. So here we are in our results tracking group. And if we go down here on the schedule, days after joining, we can see we have information on how to take the measurements already in there, drip feeding out to them, explaining again, following that process that we talked about earlier on. We've got the weekly tracking setup and progress photos set up. And this starts repeating every single week from, in this case, for this particular client. And that's running for an entire year. Now then, that's oh, thank you very much. The most saying the white label library is worth the price of the emission. It is. A lot of people ask us, like, can I just get the white label library? I'm like, it's worth it just on its own. But if anyone's listening to this, by the way, and they want to find out more about how to access all this stuff, I'll talk about it towards the end, so people are very interested. But I appreciate the Rosa. Thank you very much. So here we are in the results tracking section. This is running across the whole length of whatever program you're going to do for that particular client. And this will always remain in the client's account. You're never going to go and take this out of the client's account. That's going to keep all that data in there. Now, once we've done that, we can start adding in some content. So what I recommend we do here when it comes to coaching content is I like to split things up a little bit. So to make it simple, just for this particular example, we're going to go and have our coaching content. So I'm going to call this our flagship coaching content. So you can see it here. And in here, this is going to have all our nutritional stuff in it. So if we go on the schedule, days after joining, you can see everything's drip feeding out to the client. If I just go on to 28 days, you can see it just drip feeding out over time in here with little reminders and coaching items and things like that. If I go into items, you can see actually that in here, all the coaching content just being drip fed out, all automatically. You can see here by dates, all scheduled. We'll get notifications through everything already pre-done. And this is like a course, like a curriculum. Following that process we talked about earlier, it's going to say we do this, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and then so on and so on and so on and so on. It's going to start building on top of it for that individual client. So it's a pre-built curriculum that you can change and edit for individual clients. And that's what we're going to be doing in just a moment. And as the Rosas just rightly said in the comments there, never, ever delete the results tracking group. Only do it if you want to delete all the tracking data from their account. Yes. Do not delete that group once it's in there. For this system to work the way I'm showing it here, you must keep that group intact once it's in there. That's the most important thing. Just don't delete it, whatever you do. Everything else, though, you can move things around. So here we are. You can see we have all our coaching content in. We have that. And then we're also going to have our workout content, which, again, we'll use workout groups for. So I'm going to go into here. Again, I'll just give you some examples. So you'll notice in that coaching content group, there's no workouts in there. But we also have quite a lot of workout groups. In fact, all of these ones are different workout groups. You can see 5-day split, 2-day split, home, beginner, advanced, intermediate, so on. Lots of different versions in there. So if I go on to our program inside here, let's just go for, it doesn't really matter which one we go for, to be honest with you. Let's just go for this one on here. This one, if I go into it and we go to the items, you can see it has programs in, but doesn't have anything else in. And this is that principle behind group stacking. We can have workout groups and coaching groups and results tracking groups, welcome groups, all stacked together to create one particular program for a client. Now, once we've got all that set up, the final thing we'll have inside here is our check-in group. So again, we've got a check-in group set up on here. This check-in group, get the right one, sorry. Picking the wrong piece from the white label iris. Let's do our weekly check-in. So here's our weekly check-in group, our weekly review. And then once we're in here, you can see if I go onto the schedule, we actually have these forms, first check-ins on here, explain to them how to actually go and do the forms. And every week they get a new check-in. The beauty about this type of setup here, it's a new form, lets them know what week they're in, lets you know what week they're in, makes it easy for comparisons as they go through. And everything's pre-done, scheduled out, and drip feeding out for the client, as you can see here, all in order. So everything just takes care of it automatically for a whole year inside here for the check-ins. So again, that check-in group is a bit like the results tracking group. You'll just leave it where it is and let it do its thing. So now we've got our groups in place, we're going to go and set up a pre-made package. This is going to allow some of that automation to happen. If you're going to have large numbers of clients coming through, you don't want to be able to onboard them all yourself all the time. You want to be effectively send them a link or to take payments or whatever it is and have this happen automatically. Now, this can be linked to a CRM, as the Rose has mentioned already. He's talked about how you can do an onboarding flow with clients that connects to PTD from high level. That's just one example. Really, really great way of doing it. We've done it a few times with people where they do maybe high ticket sales, they're on the call, they move it through on the pipeline to say they've purchased, and as soon as that happens, it triggers a Zap, and then that speaks to PT distinction, and this whole process happens all automatically. Everything happens automatically, completely hands off. That's the kind of stuff you want to be doing when you're having high numbers going through. You want to really make the most of these automations in here. So once we've got those things set up, those automations can be triggered by these pre-made packages. So in these premium packages, you can see we've got a few different ones set up here. We actually have our 12-week flagship program set up already. Now, to set up a pre-made package, all you do is click the add button in the top corner and you're adding your different groups. So here we were just adding those groups that we've just created or put together. The welcome group, results tracking, the first coaching content we want to get, the results tracking we want to get, the workout content we want to add in there, and our weekly check-ins as well. Again, we'll all add into here. And we'll just build out that pre-made package. Now, again, if you're not sure how to set up groups and premium packages, make sure you check out the PT Distinction Masterclasses because it will go through this in a lot more detail and show you how to set these individual things up. But what I want to really do here is to show you one that I've made earlier in here. So you can see we actually have this 12-week program set up, and in here there's lots of different groups already set up and added in for the client. Some of them starting immediately, some of them starting on particular days. And again, this is the beauty of groups because we can tell groups to start on a particular day of the week if we want to. So it doesn't matter what day our clients sign up. If we want to run check-ins on a weekend, we can have it set up so no matter what happens, the weekly check-in won't start until the first Saturday after they join, and everything happens all automatically again. So we have our package on here, and we can actually take this package and we can actually embed this using this on our website, our CRM, whatever we need to go and do in here, we can do it all. Or what we can do is we can actually link it using something like Zapier. Like Larosa mentioned already in the comments, you can link all these things together depending on the type of business model you want. Now, once that's done, you're going to have a form to go and complete. So I'm going to go and grab this form. Now, this isn't embedded on a website. I'm just going to have a direct link to the form here. And what will happen is your client can put the details in. They can actually have payment integrations in here if you want to. And I'm just going to put a little email address in here. So I'm going to do a ash plus 24 at ptdninja.com in there. And then we're going to do a password. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Super secure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Choose your time zone, which is me. And then I'm not a robot. And then create an account. Now, this again can happen automatically. You can take payment at this point if you want to as well. Or they can just go and fill that form in. They can download the app and they can click this to go and log in. So as long as you know those integrations, again, check out Masterclass Module 1 if you want to know how to go and do those integrations. You'll be able to go back into your PT Distinction account. And this is where the magic's happening. I'm going to go into clients now. And I'm going to go and filter these down to my active clients. And I'm going to filter this here to date added. And there's my test client. And you can see already from this test client, we've already got workouts scheduled and running for them. So I'm going to go and click on this test client, open it up. And in here in the top corner, you can see I have all those groups set up, apart from these ones that are pending on the first Saturday and first Monday, as I mentioned earlier. So this client's now onboarding and doing everything themselves in here. We can actually see in their account, on their schedule, everything is scheduled out for them. We can actually see in their items, the workouts are in here, the coaching items are all in here. Everything is all set up, forms for them. The tracking is all set up for them, ready to go. Everything completely automated. I've not had to do anything as a coacher in here. So now, let's say our client's gone in here and they started completing some of the forms. So I log into my PT Distinction and tomorrow morning, after the client signed up, I'm going to go into my top corner up here. I'm going to filter this down to forms and questionnaires. I'm going to say, right, who's been doing what? So they've got a number of questions. I get, oh, cool. I've got a client that's actually onboarded. So I can click on their name and it will take me straight through into their account. And I can see, okay, Ash, my test client is onboarded and filled in some forms. Now I'll see that on their activity on here. And then from that, I can make some decisions. So maybe this particular client here, I think actually it's going to be a bit much for them to go and do macros and calorie counting. Maybe I need to get them onto some habits first. And actually, they want to focus on protein first, and maybe a couple of weeks later, I want to go and work on carbs based around activity. And also, they want to be doing home workouts, not gym workouts, maybe 3 times a day. So let's go and change that. And I'm going to do this in literally less than 60 seconds. So I've checked the form. I'm going to go up into my groups in the top corner. And down here, I'm going to get rid of the things I don't need. I don't need the coaching content group. I'll get rid of that. Click this button to remove the content, and away it goes. It's going to remove that out of there. I'm going to get rid of the workouts because I don't need that. So click remove the content, click OK. It's got rid of it. Everything else is staying in place. The results tracking, don't delete that. Weekly check-ins, don't delete that. Welcome group, I'll leave it in if I was you. But it's not the end of the world if you do delete that welcome group, but just don't delete these ones here. Now what I'm going to do is build that program out for them. So let's do the workouts first. I want them to do a 3-day a week home workout. So there we go, a 3-day split home beginner workout. Click on this one, click next. Now I can actually pick a day or date for it to start in the future. I'm going to get to start now and click confirm. That's going to go and copy that in. Now I also want to go and add in some nutrition for them. So we said we're going to do protein first. So I'm going to type in protein. And what we've actually got set up is a protein group. So not just a habit on its own. This group has the habit. It has a form for them to assess the habit themselves. It then has a daily habit check-in already pre-scheduled out for them. It has a habit review halfway through that process for them to review how they got on and how they can adapt their habit themselves. And then it has a remainder check-ins for them for the following week. It has all the information about how to complete the habit as well and what they need to do all in one group. This is the beauty of groups. Like I said, super powered templates. I can click on this, click next. I'm going to add this in straight away. Now, I mentioned I know they want to do another habit a bit later down the road, maybe in 2 weeks' time. So we can group stack on top of each other, but we can also group stack into the future. So I can actually go into here and actually type in, say, carbs around activity. There's another habit for me to work on. I'm going to click on this, click next, and on here, I'm going to pick a date in the future. So I'm going to click on this here and say, right, in 2 weeks' time, what's today's date? It is the 18th. So 18th there. In 2 weeks' time is the 2nd of May. Click confirm. And then that one's going to go in there. And it's now pending the 2nd of May. And I can actually build out as many of these as I want to. If I wanted to, especially using our white label content, I could build out over a year's worth of coaching content, completely customized for that individual client if I wanted to, and then come back in later and change it and adapt it. Now, that really is all it takes to edit and adapt something quickly for your clients. It doesn't matter whether you have one client or whether you have 1,000 clients. This process can work. And as you can see there, it only takes literally a few minutes per client per week to go and do that. Some clients you might find will be a few seconds because the onboarding form doesn't need anything changing. Some clients you might need to make changes like I've done there. But again, you can see how quick it is. And the ability to do that comes from the front end work. It comes from setting this stuff up in the front end to make sure you've got all the different variations of your groups, to make sure you've got the structure in place. Then once you have the structure in place, it then becomes so much easier to go and do all this. Now, I can appreciate that's obviously a lot of work if you want to go get that stuff set up. So there's a couple of ways you can go about it. One of them is you can just start building these things out as you go, make some sales, build it up for smaller numbers, and then start turning those into templates and groups and so on. Or you can take a bit of a shortcut and come get involved with over at PT Ninja. PT Ninja, you can actually have all this stuff set up for you. If you want to head over to the website, I can put details below this. Watch this quick video, it'll take you through the process. But you can come join us on our OPTC course in the academy, where we're literally going to set up everything for you. We'll give you all the resources, white label content, everything you've seen there, as well as training on how to go and set it all up. You'll even get access to the OPTC course, which includes training on actually running a business, marketing a business, and actually how to go and make sales. And on top of that, we're also going to give you access to our online cash injector. So that means you'll actually have clients waiting and ready for you to go within the first 30 days. In fact, the whole point of this is to make sure you get your first online clients in the 5 to 10 online paying clients within the first 30 days of actually signing up. So all the information you need, everything about that is on here. So if you want to fast track this, if you want to have this up and running within literally the matter of a week or so, have all these resources to plug and play into your account, then come and check this out. I'll put details about this in the link below here if you want some extra help and support. Hopefully the training here has really helped you with getting a bit of an idea of how you can actually manage a high number of clients within PT Distinction.